Ash Ketchum. It took him 20 plus years of him being a trainer, but he finally did it. Become a champion of Alola. And even though journey is a big thing, but Alola is pretty special because it's the only region where Ash has become a champion. And it's clearly shown Ash is really the first Alolan champion. Because of that, the anime and the game version are completely different things because clearly in the games they had a champion in Elite Four member and they had a trial to compete becoming a champion, but in the anime it's completely different because it's clearly that there's no gym leader and Ash collecting Z-ring is pretty much based on the plot and not the plot of going to the compete in the league, but it's pretty clear that anyone can compete in it. All it took is to become the strongest trainer. And that's where Ash steps up and finally doing so, defeating the toughest trainer on the lower grid, even defeating Professor Kukui, who's pretty much the strongest trainer of all Alola. And even he had a legendary Pokemon on him. And even then, Ash pretty much defeated Professor Kukui. This allows Ash to gain the title, the strongest trainer in Alola. And I'm warning to myself, even though it continues oft in journeys, but I quickly question myself, what if the Pokemon anime version of Alola had its own Elite Four, especially for Ash, and that's what we're gonna find out.
This version of the Alolan Elite Four is going to take place in 10 years later, meaning Ash and his friends and perhaps other trainers in the anime will continue and develop their skills and earning them to be strong trainers over the 10 years of their lives, meaning that they're no longer 10-year-olds, they are fully young adults capable of defending Alola any sort of danger, and officially hosts a Pokemon League where everyone can enter, but the winner can challenge the all four Elite Four members, and if they're able to defeat all four of them, they're able to challenge the title of the champion for Alola. Who are these trainers? Well, we're gonna find out now.
Before we get to our Elite Four, there are a few things I have to address here, and I know people are going to ask in the comments. We're simply not going to use the gym leaders or other trainers in the game. We're basically going to make an original Elite Four here, meaning it's going to be characters anime exclusively, and we could bring other trainers in the games, but we didn't get to see them in the anime, or there are characters that were in the animes, but we didn't get to see their battle, meaning we have to base on our interpretations here and to see my version at least, but I promise you guys are going to like. After the events of the anime, it's going to take in the far future of 10 years later, as our young heroes clearly have been growing up and honing their own Pokemon, and the first trainer I would like to pick is Lana. The first Pokemon on our team will be Wishy-Washy, a trusty water Pokemon Lapras, a toxic Peck Astrodon, or an electric type counter, and finally her ace Pokemon Primonia. The second Elite Four member is, this might be surprising, but Guzma here. And I know what you're thinking, why Guzma of all people? Well, the thing is, Guzma actually is the fewest trainer in the anime where he wants to be the strongest one. And since he went through a character arc that he always been a coward and always tends to fight and ease train. And because of the latter arc that Guzma is dedicated to himself to train more and battle more stronger Pokemon. And this earns him to be one of the 5 strongest trainers in Alola here. And Guzma is pretty proud by this. he- Proud by this. He would be using Pinsir and a very powerful Scizor, very powerful Volt, and a very powerful Flygon here. And even though it's not a bug typing, but Flygon resembles a bug Pokemon, so which is pretty good enough. And besides, he desperately needs a fire. He needs a Pokemon that could counter his main weakness, Fire type Pokemon. And finally, his ace Pokemon, Golisopod. The third elite four member will be Kiawe. Since the beginning in the anime, Kiawe and Ash has been a rival at the start, as Kiawe and Ash has been constantly battling, which earns him to be a third member in the Elite Four, which earns him the title. And not only that, he's been proving his team with Pokemon like Charizard, Torkoal to set up the sun with its ability, and Marowak. And fourthly, Arcanine to support its team with its Intimidate ability, and of course its ace Pokemon Turtonator, the powerhouse. And finally, the fourth Elite Four member is of course it has to be Galarian here, because it's one of the second Pokemon that he could have been a champion in Alola, but unfortunately Ash beat him to it. But Galarian is also a very tough trainer in the far future, be pretty much the second strongest Pokemon trainer in Alola. And of course his Pokemon will Lycanroc, Umbreon, Lucario for type diversity, Nulago. I like in the Johnny's episode, Galarian did catch one of the Pokemon, and I kinda like that, so we're gonna keep it too. And finally, his ace Pokemon, Silvally, able to change its timing mid-battle, allowing him to have an advantage in battle. And finally, the man himself. The video is been around about this guy, Ash Ketchum, official Alola Champion. Of course, Ash would have Pikachu by his side, of course, and second, and the Pokemon that won him the league in the first place, Lycanroc, thus formed. And the third Pokemon that we never get to see in battle, but quite strong, Incineroar here. We could do something a bit spicy here. We could add the two Pokemon here, a legendary Pokemon, in fact, technically, Metal, and his Ultra Beast Pokemon, Neonado. We could add in Rowlet here, but unfortunately, I don't think it would fit a Ash champion level here. And in Journeys, he did have a fully evolved Pokemon, except for Pikachu for Arby's region. But for the sake of it, let's just say we could use all one Pokemon from each region and that Ash has been with. For example, Ash could add in his strongest Pokemon, that isn't Charizard, Snorlax. And second option, that it's definitely one of Ash's ace Pokemon in Johto Heracross. And thirdly, I grabs a good grass type option, Sceptile, of course. Again, his strongest single Pokemon that isn't a fire type, Tornadus, but I'm pretty iffy about this one. And fifthly, Crocodile. Check out my recent video on the what if on that. Shameless plug in it. As much as I want to add Greninja here, but unfortunately Ash doesn't access Greninja, which is unfortunate, but he does have a powerful Hawlucha here. If you notice here, there's one problem in his team. Ash is really weak to ground type, so he desperately needs it because basically all of his Pokemon is weak to ground type.
So this is my version on what if Ash gets his own Elite Four here. Do you like it, or do you dislike it, or do you prefer other characters be in the Elite Four status? Or do you like the the Pokemon team I constructed them for them perfectly just for them. Or do you prefer other trainers to get different Pokemon? So leave a comment down below. Leave a comment on that. Until next time, peace.